my name's Arshi. I grew up in Surrey. I'm the director of the Black Arts Center as well as a film artist.
My name is Rimaz, and I'm a photographer and videographer of Daily Dose of Blackness.
My name is Kay. I like to watch anime and I like to read books.
Hi, my name is Naomi, and a general interest that I do have is helping people, so I volunteer as a side as my hobby.
Hi, my name is Amal Hassan. I am 28 years old and I live in Surrey.
My name is Felicity. I am based in Surrey, BC, and I'm 20 years old. One thing about me is that I like to dance, and I go to school and I study the performing arts.
My name is Doris Bernard. I'm in grade 11.
My name is Anna Neosenga.
My name is Esme. I also go by Azzy, and I'm 26 years old, and I have lived the better part of my life in Surrey.
My name is Janae. I'm 19 years old. I'm a student at Simon Fraser University, and I'm in my second year.
My name is Betty. I'm 17.
One word to describe my childhood living in Surrey would be fun.
I would definitely say unconventional.
Transformative.
Eventful.
Self-sustained.
Turbulent.
Challenging. Eventful.
Unique.
Definitely challenging.
Living in Surrey, there's not as many resources as there is in places like Vancouver. You know, I feel like they have certain academic opportunities that we don't have, in terms of classes or certain things that they can take. We don't have the same opportunities here, I feel like.
Favorite childhood memory would probably have to be the old playground in my apartment complex.
My favorite childhood memory, definitely I think the events that they had. They didn't have many, but Fusion Festival, the events that they had Bear Creek.
It was only me and 2 other Black girls in my entire high school, so we would kick it at the school till 7 o'clock, and then we'd walk out of Matheson and just kind of through the streets of Surrey.
One of my favorite childhood memories would be living in the Main Street apartment building, just because that's where all the Black kids would live, and it was just a fun time all the time.
I would say playing with my friends in this complex that I used to live in, because it was all the people that we used to go to school with.
Literally nothing. I think, honestly, in Surrey, it was just the friends that I had at the time, because I did have a really good group of friends when I was in kindergarten to grade 7. I went to the same elementary school, so it wasn't I was growing up and didn't have friends. But otherwise, I would say, just my friend group.
I think just meeting my friends, definitely when I came to my first day at school. From there, we built a lot of memories together, and I just cherish each and every one of them.
Definitely going to Hawthorne Park with my childhood friends and just spending the day, spending the afternoon there.
I think both yes and no. More towards yes. I had a lot of family around. No, because it wasn't always the best.
Yes. No.
No. Yes.
Absolutely not.
Yes and no.
Definitely enjoy living in Surrey. I know people say this a lot, but I feel like your circumstances really build your character. Having grown up in what people would consider not the best area really builds who you are for the rest of your life.
Yes, I enjoy living in Surrey. Sometimes it can be hard, going to school, and sometimes there are people who are anti-Black, and just facing that can be difficult, but I feel the good outweighs the bad.
Favorite thing about Surrey is definitely the diversity. I wouldn't say in terms of race or gender or whatever, because that's definitely there, but really I'm talking you can find any person in Surrey, you know what I mean? If you want to find a lash tech, you'll find a home business right across the street, you know what I'm saying? If you want to party, you'll know someone who has all the spots. If you want to make friends with straight A, going places type people, you'll find them here. I just feel there's everyone for everyone here.
I feel my favorite part came later, but now in my adulthood that I'm working in Surrey and constantly in Surrey, it's actually the Black femmes that I've found here. And the hardworking, really dedicated Black women. But growing up, it was definitely the anti-Blackness was highlight of my experience here.
Me and all my family members and cousins and stuff like that would always have these little gatherings once in a while with our community at Bear Creek Park, and those were very fun.
Living really close to my friends and being able to see them as often as I'd like.
I believe that making a lot of friends, new people, definitely around the environment. I think that has to be my favorite part, because all the parties that we'll go to, everything that we'll hang out together, I think that helped me a lot.
I think it has shaped who I am today I've always lived here, I grew up here, so it allowed me to build my own sense of community here as well.
I think my experience in Surrey has definitely left me as more of an empathetic person or, a sympathetic person. I think it's a lot easier for me to connect with people on a person-to-person level instead of here's how I can help you or here's how you can help me. It's kind of like, I see the struggle that you're in and I want to be there for you and I hope that you would do the same for me because I feel like we're all in this together.
I think coming from a different place and then coming to Surrey, I think that was different than if I had lived in Surrey my entire life. Because I think it gave me like a chance to compare. Living in Surrey, I came from all of a sudden a white predominant place to a little bit more of like a culture place, which was cool. But there wasn't really much comfort if you were like Black. So even though I saw a lot more people that looked like me, it was like almost like we were this elephant in the room and nothing was catered to us. And if anything was mentioned about our Blackness, it was either like making jokes and whatnot. So I would say that it made me very confused growing up, I think, living in Surrey.
I think it's really forced me to A, be independent and B, create things for my own community since it wasn't always there for me to find.
Experience growing up in Surrey has shaped me through my identity, I would say. Growing up in Surrey as a Black girl was kind of difficult at times because a lot of times I was like the only one in a space, and so a lot of times I felt isolated. And so it just made me grow up to be more of like, it kind of forced me to just like always just be aware of my Blackness, which was cool at times, but at other times it was kind of difficult because it was like that shouldn't be the only thing that I should be looking at or like evaluating, like, oh, are they interacting with me this way because I'm Black? Or
my experience living in Surrey just, I feel like, made me more of a resilient person and also forced me to be more independent.
I would say that like I used to be very like insecure and like worried about like saying my opinion, but I feel like now because of all the experiences I had, I'm like more opinionated and not like afraid to say it like I was before. And I feel like the people around me also like help with that. Growing up in Surrey has definitely made me have tough skin and also like know my self-worth.
It's opened my eyes a lot more to the issues that like Black people face, like coming from somewhere that's majority like Black people coming here to where we're minority.
Definitely by the activities that I started doing, because when I first got here, I was really shy, so I wouldn't really talk as much. So I was very quiet. But for example, as soon as I joined the dance program, that actually shaped me to be who I am today, because I feel like I'm more active and outgoing than how I used to be before.
I think living in Surrey, being surrounded by a lot of people of color has made me more aware and educated on other groups of people. Like I've learned a lot of different cultures from like food, music, and I've also been able to have empathy for other people as well. I can relate to other people of color. So I think living in Surrey has given me that experience.
Outside of my own family, I would say no, just because I didn't have any Black teachers or Black community members in that sense. And I would say that it affected me in the sense that I wasn't able to see Black people in spaces that I wanted to later on be in.
Personally, I didn't have many Black influences growing up, and I think that definitely did affect me negatively. I think for most of my childhood, I really wanted to be not Black. Not particularly white, but just anything that wasn't Black. You know what I mean? Like I straightened my hair. I dressed like the stereotypically white or just non-Black. I strayed away from anything that would tie me to my Blackness, like, my big hair or the way I dressed, or even just being associated like with my family in public. Cause it's almost like I didn't want people to know, even though it's very obvious that I'm Black. I think if I just had more role models out there, I wouldn't have really deeply hated my Blackness.
No, I didn't, honestly. I had like my few Eritrean or Ethiopian friends, or who I called like cousins growing up, and they all moved to Surrey around like high school time, and that was really nice. But I didn't have anyone that I could look up to or like ask to like mentor, and I think that made it very difficult to see what a thriving, successful Black person would look like in the future for me. So it almost made it where I never envisioned that for myself.
I had somebody to look up to, and that was my 8th grade drama teacher, Miss Jemmett, Kissy Jemmett. She was the only Black educator that I had ever seen. Yeah, it was the 8th grade, and she was the first Black educator that I had ever seen. And she just really created safe space for me. Like, I could always go kick it in the theater and hang out after school. So she was a really big influence.
Growing up in Surrey, there wasn't like a lot of, I'd say, Black people that I necessarily looked up to, but one person I did look up to was my uncle John, just because our entire family immigrated here like several years ago, and seeing how he was able to like go to university, get his degree, like become an engineer, and be able to like basically turn his entire life around. That kind of like pushed me to like want to do the same and want to just like bring my family to new heights.
Unfortunately, I didn't, because all the Black people that like around me would be like my sisters or like my friends, and they'll be like only 2 years older than me, and we're like all experiencing the same stuff. So like we're kind of all going through it together.
Yes, my older cousin, because she grew up here, she kind of like gave me like the tips and like and advice on how to like take up space as a Black person and how to set boundaries.
Nobody in Surrey per se, but I did have an auntie. She's on my dad's side, and she was the most influential person growing up. I didn't really grow up with a lot of Blackness in my life, and she took me in and taught me everything, did my braids for the first time, just taught me how to be Black and that it's okay to be biracial, but that doesn't mean you're not Black. So I would say my auntie.
My theater teacher, Miss Jemmett, I feel like she's helped me a lot, just because like there wasn't really like a lot of like Black people at our school, and she was like the first Black theater teacher. And from there, like we built a new club together at the school. It was called BSU, just to represent the underrepresented Black students, me, her, and my other Black friend. So from there, like she made us all feel welcome about ourselves, so that we wouldn't have to be afraid of anything. And it helped me a lot. And that was definitely during my last year of high school as well. So it helped me a lot.
No, not really. Not that anyone I can think of. And I think this has affected me in a way where, like, when I was younger, I did want, like, I think most kids of color, like, had this feeling, but they wanted to be white. And it's just, like, having a lack of representation in, like, my community, I guess, kind of, like, made me feel that way.